Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Croatia here on the Lord Master channel. This Europa Universalis 4 series that I've been doing for a while now, along with the other series with Delhi, which is also known as the Mughals, because we became the Mughal Empire on the other series. But now for this series here in Croatia, well, all I can say is that we are in a bit of a dilemma here, in the sense of our geographical position. One, we can't expand in the Balkans anymore as long as the Ottomans are there, which is our most trusted ally of ours. The trust to uphold their bargains and whatnot. But the only other way to expand, fighting against Austria, would be suicide, as this would be against Bohemia and all of its other members of the HRE and Bohemia's allies. Subsequently, even if you were to bring the Ottomans in, it would not be enough. Made worse with Poland and England. And, I didn't think that. I mean, I understand you have a truce. The Ottomans are fighting another war. Albania. They'll take it. Milan will be there, interestingly, as they got nothing better to do. We ain't scared of these two, but Chile, on the other hand, seems rather interesting, because, you know, this is a country that is a member of the HRE, but, you know, that land culturally is Slovenian. Even though the country is Slovenian, but it's ran by Austrians. Even though historically we never had any Croatian claimants up in that area. But even though that's part of the Venice trade node, which is, you know, just for starters, to get in on that. And when you look at the rest of the Venice trade node, having Venezia itself would be a huge boon to us, because it's a world port, as well as controlling Istria. That's how much it is, actually. And as I said, we can't really expand in the Balkans anymore, except possibly retaking Branchevo for our vassal, Serbia. And probably pillage their capital, wherever it may be, just to bring some of that development back. Because we did it the last time when we fought against the Hungarians. And I'm not afraid to do it again. And maybe giving their core back would make Serbia a little happy. Because this vassalization idea was a mistake, slightly. So that's why soon we'll be trying to improve relations with Montenegro and maybe Serbia, but however, they will be a disloyal vassal to us until, you know, for how long? But they gotta have less than 50, and it hasn't been, well, almost a year to today, and the vassal needs to have 190 opinion of me to start an annexation. Fortunately, we can't get up there, in a way. Down the line, and this is probably, the annexations won't probably happen until the 1500s. I mean, max promoted cultures is one thing. If we were to make Serbian an accepted culture, which I will, and benevolence adds more improved relations. And then if you complete the humanist ideas, it's tolerance of heathens is kind of like whatever. That's for, you know, outside face, which is basically everybody. But at least that'll make the Ottomans look at us a little more positively. But I still hope you trust us because, well, I understand you have claimants and everything, including claimants on us, which is due to Belgrade and a few other areas. Do not worry. Trust you. Very, very much so. And the reason why I said vassalization was a mistake is due to too many relations. Serbia and Montenegro being leading vassals. That's why in the 1500s, Montenegro will be the first one to be annexed because they're the ones that are most friendly to us. And the neighboring tolerated heretics, however, is due to base value and all that, and full legitimacy. And despite being, Catholic and all. And sooner or later, we gotta make Bosnia and Herzegovina, with the exception of Srijem and Belgrade, just only the Bosnian areas, to be Catholic, in order to complete this mission to reclaim Bosnia, which will have Bosnian as accepted culture, which feels like, yeah, that's not that great of a reward. But we got room. The Serbian culture needs to have at least 20 development. Looking at you, Belgrade. Even though that's kind of far off. But this is combined numbers. 5 and 12. So 17 in total. Or we either increase development a bit here and a little bit of that, and then we'll bring the Serbian culture in. Well, they're going to be first before the Bosnians, so we'll let them in. But that's going to be down the line. Because right now, we need a lot of power, so we're saving up these administrative power, diplomatic, and all that, just to rank up next before we get back to working on defensive and humanist ideas. And once the humanist idea is complete, idea cost reduction, which makes it easier to get all this. And of course, we'll be getting these two subsequently. So we are really behind the time, technologically. As good as Croatia has been in this series, but it is not a militarily strong nor economically strong country. I mean, annexing these two in the next century would be good for Croatia. But I've also want to expand into Italy due to its vast wealth that Venice possesses. But if you're going to be dealing with Venice, well, you're going to be dealing with this lot. For, example, France and Bohemia, and Naples, and that's a real problem. My new rival, the Papal States, only has smaller allies. I mean, they'll all be there. But of course, you can't take their provinces in humiliation war, nor anything to do with vassalage and all that. Maybe one day. Yes, I understand they're all distant wars. And manpower shortages. Annexing would destabilize Milan. I understand. But with your strength, in Holland, where's Holland? Oh, you got your territories back. But they're still a weak little country, militarily, as far as I'm concerned. But don't underestimate the Italian states. They may want to start a conquest war on us. Oh yeah, how about we humiliate you? Unless I'm going to start fabricating claims in areas like here and here. Especially there. And may never know that we'll get all the rest of this, even though this would cause coalition before. But establishing ourselves in Italy would be a point of no return. Because if I were to expand into Italia, I will never join the HRE. And we'll have to accept the fact that the Ottomans will remain our ally forever and ever, through thick and thin, no matter what happens. And so we would have no choice but to expand into Italy, particularly central and the Venice areas. And maybe down the line, we'll deal with Naples, even though it'll be of great difficulty due to, obviously, Venice, but France. France is the difference maker. They are a great power. So we need to think of something of... Yeah, but the problem is France is friends with both as Naples, so that's not an option. But there are ways. Allied Tyrrell, same religion, so we're kind of neutral, basically. Yeah, it'll never work, but... And plus, even if you were to improve relations and curry favors with them, getting up with them to break the alliance would just... too far. So... guess Papal States it is. But don't declare war on that right now. What you need to do first is 1. Improve relations with Serbia. 2. Start building a spy network against the Papal States, as we're rivals now. Despite the fact that we've been somewhat of a loyal Catholic, we're kind of... Man. This early part of the series has been characterized of Croatia playing a double game. That's all I gotta say. And if I was ever a member of the HRE, then I would do this act. And going to war against Hungary would be easy pickings. Plus, where did your allies get this much manpower? Well, most of that's from that. Electoral Palatinate. This one's got a lot of manpower. Quantity, that's why. It would be nice to, you know, the development is 13. Well, they are a single state. They have to build tall on their own. I mean, it's a little more good land, and it's part of the Venice trade node, so this is for starters. I don't know, we got a lot of work to do. It's mostly going to be a peacetime episode, and we'll think about the next conflict in future. And once again, the papacy is doing their damnedest to do harm against us. The heir is a lawgiver. Good to know. So that way it reduces rebel factions and the like. It's only there, so move to Belgrade. No, Slavonia. So you don't take that river crossing penalty. Still our rival. Drill for now. Orthodox zealots. But it's a long time. You know, since we have this much good income and there's no corruption right now. But if only I had enough to reduce inflation. That's another. Because, you know, of these such things. Do we have any talented advisors, particularly one for diplomatic? Aha. Even though this one's also good to improve relations, but that'll be for annexation in the 1500s, so get it from the idea. A little more trade efficiency means a little more income through trade. So that'll cost you. Now I'll fire them whenever I wish to, because we need more diplomatic power just to get this leveled up quickly. I mean, I can afford one more advisor. Not quite. Or what about over there? No. Just take what you can get, alright? You just won't make us much. But do not forget the agenda. Which I'll probably use that in the next century early on. Revoking that privilege. I mean, I thought about revoking this privilege because of the national tax modifier. Never gave the nobility any privileges. They've just always been loyal to us. But I just want to look. Just to remind myself of what am I missing. Why didn't I think of that? Lord Master, you idiot. Why didn't you think of that? Also, bear in mind, I record ahead of time. So in other words, whatever comments that you said, or at all, on any of these videos, it's irrelevant because I record ahead. So, the ears cannot hear. Or otherwise I will say, hey, I've done this. It's been notified. Use this. This is for diplomatic relations, and you would have less of this problem. You've got two duchies, so we know that Croatia is a decentralized nation in which local dukes and counts have considerable independence from the Croy. This system, its benefits, makes maintaining the primacy of royal power a significant challenge. Well, the problem's been solved. They'll be much more influential now. Liberty desired subjects reduced. So there you go. What else? I didn't see the other things. Oh yeah. Down the line, if they ever get too disloyal, which isn't going to happen anytime soon. I almost never bothered with privileges. Well, we don't have a cardinal, that's one. And two, we're enemies now. Us between us and the papacy. Just comical. I would give this privilege, but not until this modifier expires. And if I had a lot more papal influence, the thing I would use is this or this. Oh dear. So, our problems are solved, so we'll be getting a lot more diplomatic power. Had I not found that out in the last episode, oh boy. And not to mention I picked that national focus, it's not going to be till 1512. As this behind, so we'll get this in June of next year. So, let's go. Albania has been annexed by the Ottomans. Or taken over. Whatever. In other words, hey, you want to join? Just to remember for future reference. Now all I gotta do is to get Poland in here. Well, Poland does have a truce with the papacy, correct? Hey. No. Sure? I've read it somewhere. Accepting would destabilize Poland. Why? Is it because... It's not just a truce. Maybe it's the fact of coming over there. I'm sure you've got connections. And you are ranked number 2 of the world. In fact, Poland is the strongest European power. And I'm glad to be friends with them. And I'm sure sooner or later we gotta earn their trust again. And with the vassals being more loyal, good. And a little more of the that trade efficiency due to the advisor that I appointed. Our glorious army is enhancing the prestige of our nation. Glory to us. Slava! So that's what we're doing to the papacy. It's like, so you want to fabricate claims on us? Well, I'm going to fabricate claims on you. A representative of the people living in the area dominated by one of the most prominent families of the nobility has approached the throne today, imploring the Crown to take action against what he claims are systematic abuses of power against the people there. As the ruler of Croatia, Stepan has the responsibility to protect his people. Not doing so will make us appear weak and may harm the long-term growth of the province. The nobility would likely not take kindly to chastising such a powerful member of their ranks. Well, they're very loyal, but they will not be disloyal, so I'll chastise the landowner. Listen, there's another way to get you more loyal to us, which I found. Right of council. Which honestly, that's just free loyalty and influence, but don't want to do that right now, unless they're really disloyal. And if everybody was at, say, 50-something loyalty, I would seize the land. Trade embargo. Well, we're not anywhere near that. But one day we will. Okay. Ancona. No, Uberno. That's where the coastal center of trade is. Yeah. The Archduchess. No legal heir. Disputed succession? Yes. Uh-huh. And we do have a royal marriage of us. Which means whenever she dies, it's either gonna be a noble from the Polish house over there, or is it us, or England? It's anybody's game now. But of course, we do not have the same dynasty ruling as them. If Stepan, oh no, Christian. If Austria does go to the Croatian dynasty of ours, then it'll be very good. Can you imagine a personal union between Croatia and Austria? That would be hugely beneficial. But we can't guarantee everything. she's only 15. She's got a lot of years ahead of her. But that's only if she dies and not to have any heirs of her own. But I'm happy to know that. Which again, don't have the same that ruling dynasty. Acquiring Austria would be a huge benefit, but nothing's guaranteed in this world. Oh, hey, it expired. So we're back to conversion again. That means, where is it? This one. But the tolerance of heretics and heathens would go down, which would not be good for Serbia and Montenegro, but do it. Need a little more strength just to convert Bosnia a little faster. Much faster. Oh yeah, we're getting there. Sorry about that. What do we make most money out of? Through taxation. Every little bit helps. I'm actually going to use a favor from them. Well, you need a diplomat first, because I would like to get some money from them, knowing they're a rich country, you know? But just keep proving this, Serbia. No need to rush. Just build your churches. Saint performs a miracle. Some people were so devout in their religion that they set out to help the poor and heal the sick. They were often called saints for their acts and were sometimes even believed to perform miracles. Oh boy. Free stability or papal influence to use it for the... No, that costs 100. Well, take the stability. That makes revolts less likely. Take way longer. And subsequently, more trade power. More national tax and especially missionary strength. So... much easier now. Check that advisor. Who was that guy? Oh, that's him. Missionary Street. That's the one. I mean, I'm very anxious to convert Bosnia. He's an inquisitor. That's what he is. Hire him. We won't make as much money, but still. It's for the best interest. Now we're moving. I'm glad that man who was... Are you Dalmatian? Yeah, Dalmatian. Glad he arrived. Just what we need. Can now build impressment offices. And since we're still behind the time on diplomatic technology, now there's shipyards, and then there's the max promoted cultures again. Well, we're still not anywhere near to get any new ship types. There should be a stable government. Several leading members of the government are deeply worried about some changes that were recently proposed to how the realm should be ruled. They demand a stop to such outrageous reforms and return to our tried and trusted traditions. Naturally, they avoid mention of how the changes would impact their own power base. Threaten to expose their secrets unless they back down. Declared war against Bohemia. Yipe. For what? For Brno. And possibly more. Maybe all the way to Praha. Austria, the former holder of the empire, is going up against Bohemia. You're up against Bohemia, Lüneburg, Magdeburg, and Munich. And Bohemia is up against Austria and friends. Except England. Because England is busy with their war against Burgundy. I think the best way to fight against Venice is if France gets involved in the war with their historic rival, England. But what do the Englands think of us Croats? Nothing much but the same religion. Neutral. When it's up to 25, then Ancona. From the highest to the very low, the people believe that the veneration of will allows the viewer to reduce their time in purgatory. A treatise opposing to this practice has been found nailed to the door of one of our churches in Rijeka, and it has a very substantial relic collection. Is there any truth in their complaints? Or are they merely naysayers and heretics seeking to harm the unity of the church of our one true path to salvation? Well, can it get any worse? I mean, there's no heresies around here. I just bought a bottle of the milk of the Virgin Mary. Just to have a little more papal influence. May never know. We'll get it from somewhere. It'll likely be for taxes. As stated before, Croatia continues to play its double game. Be loyal to Europe and the Ottoman Empire. While converting Bosnia to Catholicism, and then they'll come in as an accepted culture. And then add a little more development here in the Serbian areas. And then Serbia culture will be an accepted culture too, knowing that we will annex them peacefully one day in the next century. Wait till it's 90%. Gotcha. Consider this. In the future, when the Ottomans, Poland, well, Poland is fighting another war, you know, this deal. This is likely going to be a mauling for Bohemia. Well, do your thing. And whenever you're all ready, especially Milan, you know. Maybe you just fear declaring war against your Catholic ally. I mean, I am not out of fear. My idea is just, this would be our entrance to Italy. So we're going to accept the fact that we will never ever join the HRE. So it'll be a point of no return for Croatia. But in the meantime, come back here. In the meantime, hey, I'll borrow some cash for you. So 91. Also return core province. What core province? Ori? Let's go. Who's populated there in that culture? Serbia. Ah, this sounds like a good idea. But what part of the state is that? Macedonia. used to be part of the Serbian Empire. Getting these two while we will annex the rest of Serbia in century down the line. Very, very intriguing. Getting these two areas under Croatian control. And coincidentally, the area of modern-day North Macedonia was part of Yugoslavia back then. I mean, not in EU4 timeline, obviously, but the Kingdom and later Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. These two areas. Even though we're going to have to exclude all this. But still! And history too. But still! And one day we'll fight against the Hungarians to get Brandačivo back into Serbian hands. And I know it's a bit odd to have Croatian Macedonia, even though it used to be the core province of Serbia back when they had an empire, before it crumbled under its own weight, right before, you know, or the Ottomans did that. This was just before the Battle of Kosovo in 1389. I know my Balkan history. I still remember fondly. By the way, how much is it? 24 favors. And they'll say yes, 100%. And they love us. Genius! But be careful, because, you know, they'll say they have claims, and this, these are core provinces. And this has wool, and Skop has, copper. Surprisingly, they have not converted the region. And its a drawback means more orthodoxy around, while we're trying to convert some, so yeah, it may hinder the progress a bit. But still, including getting Croatian Macedonia would be good, but I didn't pay attention to its development. Not surprisingly, like the rest of the Balkans. And the only most developed place you find in the Balkans is there. Constantinia. Not Athens, and ain't what it used to be. Far cry from the ancient Greek days of the city-state of Athens and all that. I forgot what city it was in Croatia which had a nickname, Croatian Athens. Dubrovnik is the Pearl of the Adriatic, is what they called it. Let me see. That would give us owned 19 provinces by then to get both Ohrid and Uskop, which is also known as Skopje. Where'd you get that claim? You have no army nor navy. Maybe you're just not in depth, but then again, you're friendly with us, and I will improve relations with you one day and integrate you in. Since we realized it was a bit of a bad investment on our part, but it's alright. We kind of decentralize ourselves a bit. Speaking of that, it's not going to be until 1513 for any of these. Right. Okay, I want to make one correction here. I just thought of it. When it says return core provinces, even though I have no territorial claimants of Macedonia, wouldn't it mean that it would go to Serbia? If that is the case, fine by me. Makes them a little stronger vassal, although slightly dangerous if you want to keep that, you know, loyalty down, liberty desire down, I should say. But nonetheless, yeah, try that. Yeah, it does go back to Serbia. That's Skopje. Okay. Suckers. And they can't do anything about that. Because we are so good friends. Wait for the 10th. And then Ohrid is back in Serbian hands. There goes all of our favors, and we're going to have to start rebuilding the favors again for the Ottomans. So we don't need to go to war for whatever reason. And I probably want to start improving relations with you again. Why do we get favors out of you? How do you like us now? Just to give your land back. I mean, sure, it's not enough to... Oh, you mean the other way? Okay, never mind. I get it. You know, we have no favors from them. But it's good to know that they're loyal now. But it's going to take time for all that yearly opinion to change. And yeah, you insulted us, but... You're a feisty little country, aren't you? So, Ohrid and Skopje. Back in Serbian control. Give you more land and saves me some administrative power. So I can put my full focus on conversion. Saw another man that just arrived. I didn't see his name, but I'm just looking. Well, he came from Slavonia, that's what I saw. So, we're not going to go to war anytime soon without those favors from the Ottomans. Can't do it without them. There you go. Next. Podrinje. That's in Bosnia. That'll be 20 months. Thanks to the positive stability. It's that stability that made a difference. And the advisor that we pointed to. And the religious unity that also increases it a bit further. Again, very happy. Yeah, that's the one. We could afford it, but do we really need that much power now? For the amount of gains we've been making? I mean, whenever Stepan passes away and we get a much better monarch. As I said, if this was Crusader Kings, he did his very good job with the intrigue. What else? What else? What else? Oh, what's your trust? Yeah, I know you don't trust us, but if I had favors of you, I would use that for, gee, I don't know. I don't know what I would get out of you. Now, Montenegro, I gotta start improving relations with you, because we're gonna be done with improving relations with Serbia. Because we need to start integrating, annexing you. I mean, of course, it's this much, but... A royal marriage is for starters. So, yeah, royal marriage, that's a start. see too if oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get it all the way. Meanwhile, again, Montenegro never had a military, so it didn't contribute to anything other than vassal taxation. So we had no choice. Now Serbia's going to be a little hard to please because we've beat them up at one point, and now we're basically feeling sorry for them. So we're just trying to improve relations. Making friends with Bohemia, I see. Profiteering at Visoki. The heck? The citizens of Visoki have grown tired of the local influence of the greedy Johnese merchants that they claimed are using unfair advantages to outcompete local businesses. They demand that we step in to limit the influence of foreign traders on the area and reaffirm the privileges of our own merchants and artisans. If we do not act, they might take matters in their own hands. Visoki is part of the Ragusa trade node. We must protect our trade. So less unrest, and subsequently that adds a little more trade power here, because we are the strongest here. Venice is basically fighting for second place. And we know Macedonia, parts of that, all of that Macedonia in fact, is part of the Ragusa trade node. Annexing Serbia and Montenegro in the next century would definitely get our trade power so far up that we'd be making a great fortune out of this. If you could build all the local markets, that is. Austria, you had your chance, alright? And joining that Bohemian War of yours, no thank you. I will continue to ignore your calls, because it's been said now. The nation is too large to join the Empire now. We're at a point of no return. We will never join the HRE. So we have decided all of this land will become basically Yugoslavia, but it's led by Croats of Zagreb. Maybe this in one day when we fight against Hungary. A new cry. Well, the old king did his job in intrigue, in the spy networks and all that, helping claimants and such. So now, this new king will do a lot better with the monarch's points and whatnot. So now, I have no legal heir, because the number of royal marriages, which we only have one with Poland still. We broke off relations. Oh, by the way, 8, 10, 6. Excellent. Plus he was in his 40s. A lot of our rulers died in their 40s. Seems to have a short life expectancy. So this in 3 years. In 4 years, in 4 years. Don't spend it all, just level this all up to 8, and then we'll pick up a few of these. As I said, I will ignore Austria's call. But hey, monthly autonomy change, which there's hardly any at all. Practically. Wait. Aha. Lower that. By the way, check out the skills. If he doesn't have any, then if his skills aren't good, I'll get a general. 2 fire, 4 shock, 4 maneuver, 2 siege. Okay, we got a 2-star here. Man, our army's really, really drilled. We're just ready for war, damn it. Give us somebody to fight. And a fight we shall have. Elena of Montenegro, of Sinagora. Just to reaffirm marriage ties of our vassal, which will one day integrate back into Croatia. And in the meantime, as I said, I can't go to war without the Ottomans, so I think here's the plan. Hungary first. Because, you know, they're still allied to them. And despite members of the HRE, that maybe we should look into that. And to build a spy network there, even though it's going to take a little long. But if we can fabricate a claim here, good. Serbia still has its uses. Hey, that reminds me. Yes, you can do that too, if you want to increase the chance of having an heir. Integrating Serbia back into Croatia, but with the including Macedonia and Kosovo and all that. Genius. Genius. Expanding peacefully. But of course the Hungarian war would also try to improve relations with Serbia a little more by giving some of their land back. And then they'll come in peacefully with the Serbs as an accepted culture in a Croatia, which, even though I don't know what kind of form of government that Croatia's trying to be, as we know it's a feudal nobility and all that, and you can't be an empire with that kind of size, but I'm sure it's going to start resembling into a nation of some sorts where adopted humanist policies and accepted cultures of Dalmatians, Bosnians, and Serbs. Unfortunately, we won't get Albania back into independence unless I tell them so. Or Bulgaria. But no, you've already asked enough. They do not have any of our core provinces. Unless we beat that. Warned by Ottomans. If Venice does something stupid. I see. Good to know. Excuse me for a moment. Friendly relations. Just to increase it a bit. As they're really getting back together. Now we're knowing the discoveries by other countries. Don't have to click on it every time. Italian engineer available. A siege engineer from Lucca. Hold on, this announcement's more important. Heir to the throne. No administrative power. 4 divine power. 5 military. Thinking. We already got too many Krishimirs in the line. Oh. Dimitrija Zvonimir. That's a quite interesting name. Anyways, a siege engineer from Lucca, Massimiliano Zini, has arrived in our court, offering his services to the Krai. He claims to be well versed in the art of building the formidable Italian bastion fort, the Trasse Italiane. That's my attempt. which our military theorists have been desperate to emulate. However, his services will not come cheaply. How much? 40 military power. He joins. Skills and all that. Yeah, hire him. We're not going to spend it on an idea, but this is just a jump ahead. Get to this. And having another advisor, which we can afford the cost. Because money is not really a priority right now, as much as we want to get ahead in that technology again. So, we're going to put you in. Just to help out with this. And if the Queen... Oh, the Queen's a sinner. If she were to be the Queen Regent in case he did something stupid. Age of Discovery is ending. Anyways. From Verdun, they tell us that Protestant Reformation... Thoughts of disapproval against the Roman Catholic Church are spreading across Europe as a result of increasing corruption of monks and clerics. Voices are raised questioning the current principles of and the greed of the Church. A monk at Verdun, for some time expressed deep concerns, is now openly declaring his discontent with the Church, paving the way towards the reformation of the faith. Protestant is now come to existence. So, Verdun is where it begins. As it has religious zeal for a good 25 years. 25 years, around there. And local missionary strength to be reduced so they can't be converted. So it started from over there. And they are converting to it. Hanover will be the second nation to convert to Protestantism. Well, we did what we could, but we'll call them back here. Now, improve relations with Montenegro. Because that one will definitely work. That we will definitely annex the vassal. As I said, they contribute to nothing. As far as military and navy is concerned. Oh dear. It's the Polish issue. I mean, we're trying to curry favors of you, but I guess you want to improve relations. But anyways, at the same time, violence among leading families within the states is never far from the surface. Recently, two noble families have quarreled in whom where the dispute has become so heated that the two parties seem to raise arms against each other unless we could settle the issue. Let them fight it out. They trust us. It's been a while since we've improved the relations with them. And claimants just doesn't help it either, but come back. Not giving up on that spy network idea, but come back. Hurry. What's wrong with that man? He's not cruel, so he's not willing to break alliance. What's 3? Yeah, time to start kissing up to the Ottomans again. We don't have enough favors to try to get more trust. I mean, they do trust us. It's just the opinion hasn't really been, you know, hasn't really been there yet. So we're working on it. They just don't like us at the fact that we are allied with Poland, and they would love us even more if they break the alliance with Poland. I'm only mildly concerned. Because if you're going to spend favors on trust, you need 10. to get them to trust you even more. Even if you make a nation trust you 100%, won't be even enough if you do not improve relations with them first. And getting trade power from them is +2 because receiving trade power from Croatia because it told us to, and we give it to them. But in the meantime, conversions will continue slowly but surely. But it'll be 99 and then 100% after we're done with those, and then all this. Then we will fully convert Bosnia into Catholicism just before the Protestantism enters Croatia, which we'll have a decision of whether or not that we should become Protestant or Reformed or stay old school Catholic. So this is what I'm gonna have to do, and I think I've realized something. It's been well established now that we will never ever join HRE because our country's too big. Which all I can say is, well, that's fine. If I say that, it's like, well, why join the HRE as a small country since Austria wants to grow its own size? Well, we'll grow our own country through diplomatic means. We will be forming a nation. I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere on national decision as far as we're concerned, but hey, what we mean is a country that appeals to most of the South Slavic peoples, be it Croatians, Bosnians, Serbians, and even Albanians. Even though Albanian is technically a culture of its own and it doesn't belong to South Slavic, but that's real life. But anyways, we thought about, them, of all South Slavic peoples, so we thought about if we ever go to war against Venice, maybe you should have a claim on Durazzo. I mean, I don't have a claim on that right now, but interestingly, that is a Montenegrin war goal for Durazzo, which we do have it. Milan will be there, but we need to get Poland, not to do anything stupid. And the Ottomans, well, we're trying to work on improving relations between us again. If we can get them all combined here, then we don't have to be afraid of Naples nor France. The best timing is, England is still at war against Scotland. I think they're... Oh no, they're defending against Scotland. Scotland's on the offensive here against Ulster and England is fighting Scotland. Desmond and Off Valley. I know it's too many relations, but long distance, but as we will grow, maybe we should look towards England to use that as a fighting off against France, even though we have no quarrel with France as far as relations go. It's Hungary, Venice, and a Papal State. We had a royal marriage, but this is a Habsburg. So, But you could look to, let me see. That's very little. No, not interesting. If it was Poland, yeah, I would do that. If it was Austria, or any Italian nations that are not republics, then I would do that. I could see all that happen. Basically, I don't think they accept royal marriages over there. Not in that government type, as they are a monastic order. Funny, you would be suggesting something like that. So this is my plan. And it might as well be the formation of our own Yugoslavia in the game. Annexing them diplomatically and peacefully. Serbia, Montenegro. Albania will be released as subject if we can get to Dorazo when we conquered. So in other words, tell Venice to release Albania. No. Conquer Dorazo. And then we release Albania as a subject. Negotiate with the Ottomans using the favors, just like what we did with Macedonia, to get these two areas back into Albania. And Albania comes back into Croatia. And Albania is all part of Croatia. Complicated, isn't it? Yeah, I got it now, but if that's only if we're going to still remain friends because of the Polish issue. And our army strength doesn't impress us now. I mean, we can increase the force limit big time now, thanks to its development and autonomy. So do not worry, when we integrate a bunch of them, then I will increase its army size to include more artillery. What about the Navy? No room. Sorry. Maybe getting Kotor will help. And the acquisition of Albania in future, diplomatically, will be great. So we can strengthen the Navy too. Now we're at an impasse. If you want to fight against Venice, you're going to have to go through Naples and France. Declaring war against Naples would bring France in. Declaring war against France, for whatever reason, you bring the whole damn world against you. Yeah. I fully understand now. So, if these conditions do not improve with this alliance between us, then we'll start saving up on favors. One is to join our wars. Two is save up much additional curry favors to include Albania. That it will be part of me. This is technically part of Albania, which I don't know, it could go either way. We will never ask for favors of Venice. They're our wartime enemy. So, yeah, we got it now. Need a little more than that. De gratia rex. Yearly absolutism up. Regiment drill losses really reduced, so stop drilling. Not because of that, because I saw this. It's gonna happen any time now. It's gonna happen over there. And unrest in Catholic provinces also reduced, which is fine and dandy. So the Dalmatians won't rebel. There. We saved our friendship. I think it'll be called that subsequently. The Yugoslav-Ottoman Friendship Alliance. Aragon, they tell us of the Peasants' War. Slow down and read the news. The peasantry has for some time demanded economic, religious, and political amendments. Their dissatisfaction has grown to such an extent that violent revolts has become a common day practice, even though there is no central leadership and they lack proper armament. The peasants have still managed to pose a challenge to authority. Several important buildings, both religious and other, have been burnt and plundered as a protest. And now the end of the Peasants' War. The instability of the past years now seems to be over. We're no longer worried about the peasants fighting for reforms. Their will to fight have been drained, said Aragon. We're still good friends. No matter what happens, we're going to stick together through thick and thin. We strive to keep the Croatian military strong, modern and domestically supported, but sometimes the priorities end up in conflict with each other. Lacking the rich iron mines of our neighbors, some of grander plans for future military development will not be possible as soon as we might wish. Increasing imports is a tempting option, or relying on foreign support might compromise our trade policies. Throw a knife in the back of our neighbor. We'll all be more brilliant and insidious if made from our own steel. They're gonna remain our enemies no matter what, but hey, we need to imported iron for our fists, so we're working on that, so bingo. Milan wants us to join one of their wars. Against Switzerland, allied with Trier, but against is part of the empire, and Bohemia will protect them. I don't know if I really want to get into that. I mean, Bohemia is basically defeated in this war, but the original plan of why did I ally with Milan is for, you know, to fight against Venice. You know, have another front to pressure them. But remember, declaring war against Bohemia would, you know, also cause... Let me see. Lundberg and Munich will be there. Oh, Bohemia is still out there. And you are going up to HRE territory against Switzerland. Well, the Ottomans ain't gonna help us. And it would not look good for our diplomatic reputation because we're trying to keep up the alliance with the Ottomans. We are fully drilled, we have the manpower, and we can increase the army size if we wish to. So... But remember, their forces are strong enough to crush us. Are you bringing other allies in? That's the real question. Frankfurt for Luca will be there. I guess we shall too. Even though Bohemia's not there, but they could join anytime. So the real question is, are you gonna let us have access? Because there's room for one more. Let us in and then we'll be at war. Of course. Well, we can't ask them yet because we're in the middle of trying to improve relations, so stay calm. I mean, don't mind my manpower. Again, you started that war against Bohemia. And there's Bohemia over there. So we stopped drilling, which we did. This is Montenegro's chance to build their own military, finally. But I won't be surprised if they do indeed come here. Okay, real quick, alright? I'm just gonna simply ask Austria to let us in. And then get back to improving relations with the Ottomans. Plank and shot. The arquebus was an easy use as a weapon. It was also inaccurate and slow to fire, leaving its users vulnerable to cavalry charges. Blending with pikemen allowed arquebusiers to fire and then fall back to be shielded by pikemen when enemy cavalry or infantry appeared. Infantry fire up and cavalry shock up. You can have regimental camp if you wish to increase the size of the land force limit. Even though it's not going to look good for the maximum manpower. This is what barracks is for the whole country. Now you're going to have to focus on getting this next. Land maintenance modifier reduction will be good. So follow us, Serbians and Montenegrins. We're going to go after brigands. And if there's any Serbian separatists out there, we'll fall back while you guys can go handle it. Montenegro might finally be useful for once. And if the Ottomans were to ever fight against the Mamluks, I would be there too. We lack transports, but still. Here's my chance to pick up a leadership trait. There's no fort here. Less developed. I get Serbia confused with Poland with their insignia. But we need to get these guys pieced out fast before Bohemia joins, as Austria will duke the Bohemians out. There goes them. Oh yes, I forgot. You know what? Mothball one fort. Don't mothball Belgrade because of the nearby separatists. We need to continue to convert. Not here. There's 2 more to go. Under the 2 religious unity. We'll break off the siege when separatism has occurred here. Oh dear. 2 at the same time. Siege is dragging on over the winter is always costly and best avoided completely. This winter is particularly harsh and one of our sieges seen both equipment and soldiers freezing. At this rate, we have to recuperate and wait out the winter or send in more men. Many of them would likely die from cold and starvation. How many are willing to sacrifice just take this one city? Let us bide our time. Our Queen Elena has impressed many men and women at court with her sharp wit and extensive knowledge of the natural world. She has long been a collector of tomes on botany and chemistry, and she corresponds with several of our generation's brightest minds. Currently, one of these scientists are visiting our court as per our Queen's invitation. They can be found discussing all sorts of new theories far into the wee hours of the night. Queen Elena has asked us to make a scientist an offer, claiming that she would make a much better advisor than the Inquisitor we currently employ. Are you sure? Natural scientist. That's for production efficiency. No, we will ask the Inquisitor to work harder. Get a few more administrative points, which, yes, I could get this if I want to, but this is the utmost priority. Serbs will deal with brigand army. Not quite there yet. You need a lot more units for that. I forgot, what does this do? You'll get more manpower but lower the professionalism, which is not very much. I know what they're up to. Raise it up. chase them, Serbia. You still have that old general. Still tailing them. Sorry, gotta go. We'll have to break off this siege. I know the Montenegrins are helping us, but still. Oh, is Bohemia part of that war now? No. But they've already taken bits of Switzerland. They got the objective. Or we must head home. The Ottomans declared war against Genoa for conquest because there's some areas that the Ottomans need. And there too, in Azov. Fine by me. Hey! I know the focus is to be supportive, but stick around in Allied territory for now. Get rid of those separatists. Get them! You got the general, they don't. And what luck! You traitors! Change orders again. Come over here. Active. Get back here. Does that mean the vassal Serbs will be teaming up with them? Is that the case or no? No, they're just standing aside, letting us do all the work. Very well. More glory to us. There's the Ottoman army off to Genoa. There's no autonomy now. Alright, let's go support them. Oh, I forgot about you. Quickly. That'll be for the upcoming Hungarian conflict. To take Braničevo back. To give it back to Serbia, and in which all of Serbia will be part of Croatia one day. You can stop that now. Now we have free reign. I'm sure the Ottomans are going to call us to help out the Genoa situation when we're done with Switzerland. But I don't see any other armies other than they're stuck over there. So I think it'll be safe to mothball the forts now since they got no navy. Get the income back up. Bohemia? Are they allied with Genoa? Is Genoa in the HRE? What? Oh dear. Genoa is committed, excuse me, Bohemia is committed on the Ottoman War, but not the Switzerland conflict. You're against all odds here. Can you handle it? If you call us into your war, Croatia, Serbia, and Montenegro will be there. At least Austria won't. Perhaps it was for the best, not joining the HRE, and instead form our own country of a distinct identity. Even though it'll still be called Croatia, but a South Slavic kingdom at the most. What are the benefits that Dalmatians give us, actually? Now you can make a separate peace with them. Who's the other country you're up against? Yeah. Oh, they're way over there. No, thank you. We're done with our participation. We're withdrawing immediately. All yours, Milan. You got all of Switzerland now. We need to head home immediately. Sviatoslav Hrvatij has corrupt connections. We try to keep our administrator free of dishonest individuals, but we cannot always account for the friends. This is a separate piece. Count for the friends and contacts which got them to where they are. Sviatoslav Hrvatij unfortunately turned out to be a good example of the problems that fall from this. Being skilled and personable, but somewhat gullible in his choice of associates. Recent investigations have revealed that much to a well-built trade network relies on bribes, smuggling, other duties to reach its current level of efficiency. Sviatoslav Hrvatij claims to have no knowledge of this, which is likely true. Nevertheless, if we decide to expose and end this, the responsibility will be his to take. For 10 years. Yeah, that's a head scratcher for me. If it works, it works. I'll take the corruption hit. Plus, we have positive stability, and we will definitely root out the corruption before there's end. But I'm scared of Bohemia. They may have been beaten, but they still got a lot of manpower behind them. But the Ottomans are more of a match against the HRE. See, I told you we'd make good friends. And if I were to join your war, I'll definitely help you out. Decisive defeat for Frankfurt. They're out of the war. One of Milan's allies. I could go over there, but yeah. No, thank you. But if they do come to Croatia, then Serbia and Montenegro will stick with me. The house of Svacic is shaken again. Deny it fervently. Always happens. Think! Aha. Remember the Durazzo deal. So I guess you fabricated that, but I'd rather have my own claim to it. Even though I still have intentions to integrate Montenegro into our expanding country. They're dealing with Genoa now. Increased governing capacity and ability to build a courthouse, which definitely helps with the state maintenance and all. Now all we need is get this up, and then we're good. Taking their territories back, while Milan is trying to take out their ally, and then it'll be Switzerland from then on out. While we will get rid of the corruption, thanks to the bit of that positive stability. There we go. Belgrade has more defense for that. New government reform. Okay, what do we got here? Because we know that it's a feudal nobility, because we're a feudal kingdom, and straight for the noble privileges and centralized bureaucracy. Now the administrative God, let me see. This is for loyalties and all that. What does that mean? Administrative free policies. Oh, this is for this, and it gets a little more missionary strength, but penalty and institution embracement cost. Now, even though we do want to convert Bosnia faster. And whereas this also has its own benefits and negatives, but I think it should do that in case if you were to embrace the Protestantism if it comes to Croatia. Oh, these kind of policies, like these. I think that's what they mean by that, but that's administrative policies, if there is any for that. In fact, check again. If you want that. But that'll be more clergy influence, which... I mean, these are all influence related and they're loyalties. But honestly, I tend to lean towards this. Because we gave them so much privileges and for the expansion of our future Yugoslav state of sorts, we will have even more trade efficiency and trade power in the Ragusa trade node. So get it while you can. So I think I will go for this. A meritocratic recruitment. We cannot let old privileges govern who will get the privilege of serving our kingdom as it grows. Instead, we must look only to the ability of each and every one. A meritocratic system is one where administrators are chosen for their talent and not their parents. That sounds a lot like something I would do. But let me see. For the future reference. Yeah, this one. A little more influence helps with it, despite the low trade income. The clergy has long been one of the foremost pillars of the Croatian realm, provide not only spiritual guidance but also administrators, judges, and diplomats for the benefit of our Kraj. In return for these great services, no tax from man, monastery or other estate paying tax to the state and temporal authorities do not meddle in the internal affairs of the clergy. Times grow dire, however, and a state has to cover an increasing number of expenses. Suggestions that perhaps the clergy might make a voluntary contribution have not been favorably received. I could take that loyalty hit, but the money's rather tempting. Either that or it'll be very loyal to us while their influence grows, which is national tax money. But I still want that papal influence by any means, so we will find money elsewhere. Of course. With them being very loyal, it increases much more the papal influence and reduces the stability cost modifier, which if you want to, there you have it. But the institution embracement costs, it costs money to embrace an institution whenever necessary, but do that. Take further steps towards the unified church by enforcing church attendance and set the order of services and prayers to be used in the Book of Common Prayer. As I said, just want to convert Bosnia and Herzegovina faster. Poland has declared war against the Teutonic Order, so I can't go to war against Venice without the Ottomans or Poland. But integrating these two countries sounds a little bit good right about now, but no. Oh, we're allowed to pass through Venice. But I fear them. Oh, you're with us? In that case, let me see. What can I do for you? Stick close to allies, you know, me. Serbia and Montenegro armies, they do contribute a bit, but the problem is, they're on mountains, but as long as it's friendly mountains, we have a chance, so let's head to it. Keep it up. Herzegovina is next. Hey, where did they go? Get back. They might be heading to Croatia. They ran off. But the war score is there, so just take the objective. You will win this fight. '99 war score. We got him. Glorious victory. They're out. Now Switzerland is alone. And I really gotta reduce that inflation. I mean, it's not increasing now, but knowing that one day when Kosovo comes to Croatia, then, well, we're in for it. Come here, fellas. Major victory. We get 24 more. Thank you. And 5 favors from you. We owe you so much favors. Well, in the future conflict against Venice, for whatever reason, you'll be there, no matter what. But all we need to do is get Poland in, and the Ottomans, and we got him. All I need is to fabricate claim for Dorazov, just for future reference. Be on standby for now. Oh dear. This is what I feared, but it gives them more favors. But how are you doing on this war? You are winning. We know Serbia and Montenegro will be with us. Don't you worry, you got your new friends. But, you know, Bohemia will be there. And it's the Ottomans that wanted Azov. And they have the objective, and they're heading that way. Look, I'll have to join. Don't say that you cannot, alright? Mantua and some Bohemian armies are nearby. If you could pick them off bit by bit, good. But you cannot negotiate with them. Their army may be small right now, but they got a lot of manpower because they got the whole empire behind them. Very well. So, we'll end the episode on this note then, but we'll just want to have a look here. So all I could say is, hey, Serbia and Montenegro will be with us, and we can definitely beat them up. And of course, in the next episode, at the beginning of the next century, we will complete the Reclaim Bosnia mission. Bosnia will be an accepted culture, which I practically stopped caring about these missions here. So we're just going to forge our own path, the Yugoslav path, so to speak. Even though you can't rename a country, but you basically get an idea. So now we got involved in a massive war. And you know there's going to be navies involved. Which, Genoa, there are no pushovers. Oh no, Florence is there too. Are you a member of the HRE? No. You're an ally to Genoa. We had connections, but not anymore, so they want to return these ships to port immediately. Get them together. Once these ships are ready, then we'll assign our very first admiral, as we have enough diplomatic power for it. Just gonna stall a little. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we will conclude the episode on that, because in the next episode, well, we are in a bit of a tight spot here. Against countries of many. Parts of the Empire, and a few more. Even though this is a mostly drilled army with defensive ideas, but if we had this, that, this, and that, we can handle any kind of situation that Croatia can handle with these defensive ideas. But with Serbia and Montenegro with us, then so mainly this is going to be a defensive war for Croatia's part. Just to preserve our pride. Nobody wants our territories. This is for our pride. For prestige. And more favors with the Ottomans, which we can use the said favors to join our wars, especially against Venice, and create Albania as a subject of Croatia, and negotiate with the Ottomans to give these Albanian lands back to Albania, which will one day be part of Croatia. So this is why this series will continue on, because of my grand plan. We will no longer pursue HRE. That is now an impossibility unless we become a reduced state, which is highly unlikely when you think of it now, of the grand scheme of things. But we will only do what is best for Croatia and its survival. And when we get, this is, if we survive this war, fight Hungary first for Branicevo, and after that, fight against Venice. Somehow, some way to convince the French. Oh, if the French is fighting against England, good. That means we can focus on Venice easily to take Durazzo and Istria, those two areas. And talked with the Ottomans to get Albania as a Croatian subject, and Albania joins Croatia. Another South Slavic entity that will be an accepted culture, along with the Serbian culture, as Bosnians will become an accepted culture. But all we need is increase the development of Belgrade, 3M. Likely this one because it's cheaper for Slavonia and all. So we hope you people join us in this next episode. Croatia's got grand plans for a country for all South Slavic peoples, except maybe the Bulgarians. That one's gonna have to require conquest, but that would be against the Allies, so that will not happen. Well, what will happen is basically look like almost like modern Yugoslavia, except including Albania in, as I have plans in the future, but not too much of Slovenia. And Istria too. All that and more for the Croatian series, which is amazing that is going to be concurrent with the Delhi/Mughal series. Two different nations with two completely different ideas and stories and whatnot. But we hope for you to join us this next episode. Survival is at stake here. But until then, so long for now.